Affordable housing is just one piece of the cost of living puzzle. Another critical aspect, earning potential. As first reported by Idaho Education News, College of Western Idaho is proposing adding a 4-year bachelor's degree in business administration to its lineup. The college's Board of Trustees have signed off on the proposal, and the State Board of Education will soon consider it as well. Earlier this week, I sat down with CWI President Gordon Jones to discuss the proposal and the place of higher education in today's society. Thanks so much for joining us today. First of all, what is this 4-year degree proposal?
Yeah, so this is a proposal for the College of Western Idaho to offer a Bachelor of Applied Science in Business Administration. And, you know, for most of us, that may sound like a lot of words strung together, but in higher education, a Bachelor of Applied Science is what it sounds like. It's applied education. So you learn some theory, but you also are learning hands-on or experiential type learning. And that's different than a Bachelor of Arts or a Bachelor of Science. You might have heard of those terms, or listeners might have, in some of our 4-year universities. So the curriculum of that degree would include some career technical classes and some of that hands-on work.
Is this the only 4-year degree that you're currently considering?
It is. So the College of Western Idaho has over 50 programs. All of them are AAs or career technical education or certificates, things that have historically been in that area. So this would be a new degree, but interestingly, Idaho codes allowed for 2-year schools since 1961 to offer 2 or 4-year degrees. It's just not been something that we've offered to date.
In the future, and we know that the State Board of Education has to sign off on this proposal, in the future, if that's successful, do you see offering other 4-year degrees?
You know, I think one of the things, yes, but very limited. We are committed to being a community college. We're not trying to become, I don't know, air quotes, a 4-year college or a 4-year university. That's not what this is about. We have 23 other states in the United States where community colleges offer these applied bachelors that come in and really we can talk about the purpose, but filling needs in the community. And so for Idaho, that's really, I think, for College of Western Idaho, that opportunity is to meet specific needs, not try to become something we're not already.
And let's talk about where you got here. As you mentioned, this already exists in other states at other community colleges. How did you identify that this was a need that needed to be filled in the Treasure Valley?
You know, I think for College of Western Idaho, one of the things community colleges are very sensitive to is being responsive to the community. And one of the things we looked at, really 2 things we looked at. One is there are tens of thousands of people in the Treasure Valley who do not have access to really meaningful jobs and terrific career opportunities because of educational attainment and skills or training that can get them access to be candidates for these openings. And then secondly, we look at a Treasure Valley where one of the things we hear is from our employer community is what's holding us back, what's the single greatest challenge is having a skilled workforce, enough people to meet demands. And at CWI, we're meeting with whether it be partners like a Micron or some of the manufacturing community, Lactillus, Amalgamated Sugar, Amazon. We're very connected. And when we see those 2 things at work, we realize that there is a gap and an opportunity for many types of learners who we serve, adults, individuals who are career technical backgrounds who might want to go on and get a bachelor's. This Bachelor's of Applied Science is a great pathway for a number of people who are not traditionally thinking about residential-based 4-year, education. So we think it's about meeting the needs of this community and being sensitive to it.
How much is this going to cost a prospective student?
You know, community colleges have always been about affordability. So, it is estimated, we estimate this will be under $20,000 total. And that's also, I think, probably welcome to many of the viewers. Median household income in Idaho, I'm told, is just under $64,000. So certainly
for
affordability
a household.
For a median household income. And so that kind of affordability is living the promise of public higher ed to me, which is affordable access.
How is the college able to afford to offer the degree at this price point compared to a 4-year university?
Yeah, so community colleges are certainly known for affordability. I think in Idaho we have 8 wonderful institutions. We all are all different, so sometimes people think of us as the same or equivalent. And I think we are meeting the state of Idaho needs in different ways. So community colleges, there's a couple things that I think go into our level of affordability. One is often our faculty, who are incredibly all of our faculty have masters and PhDs, but they typically are teaching first. They are all teachers. We don't do research. And so they're going to often be teaching more classes. That means they are connecting to more students, and that lowers our cost because of that ability to teach so many classes for those faculty members. The other is community colleges are typically, we're not residency based. We do more commuting. We have a lot of our students are over age 24, a third of our 30,000. So we're catering to people who want lots of flexibility. They're not necessarily looking to live on our campus, eat in our dorms, take part in lots of the experience that often our residential based four-year partners offer. And so that allows us to, we don't have a large athletics department. We don't even know how to have athletics. So some of those things they're meaningful for a lot of people, but not necessarily for everyone, and that allows us to stay lean and affordable.
How does this fit in with your existing mission at College of Western Idaho with workforce readiness and serving this community that isn't necessarily a traditional higher education population?
Yeah. Well, I would say, look, the Bachelor of Applied Science, it may be new in the sense that we have not offered a four-year degree, and pending state board review and approval, it would be new, but I would argue it's really directly on mission. CWI, we stand for one thing: affordable, employable, empowering education. The type of degree, I would argue, is less relevant. It's understanding that our lane is applied, career technical, transfer, but it's all built on affordable, empowering education. And this BAS in business administration is absolutely dead center set on large employer needs in our community, connecting our residents to those roles, and recognizing that this is, I would argue, directly on mission.
This also comes at a time when many lawmakers have made it clear that they really support these career readiness programs, that they're supporting the governor's launch program that provides $8,000 in tuition or program fees for these in-demand careers. Was that something that weighed into your decision to pitch this to your board and the state board?
I think they're adjacent and linked. I would just say, look, launch is a very powerful program, but it's built on a premise. If we think analytically, what is launch? And I would say if you like it, you're going to like our BAS, because launch is built on a premise that if we invest and offer our residents a way to lower their cost to get an education, $8,000, that the premise is more people are going to be able to participate in higher ed. And I think this BAS is addressing a need, and it's got levels of affordability, sub $20,000, that I believe will open up for many people for whom today they're not choosing to go on, or return to get retrained or relearn a new chapter in life. So to me, they're very adjacent. They're distinctive. I mean, launch is a governor initiative that all 8 institutions support and participate in. But this BAS to me is right in the same logic and the same idea, which is if we can make this affordable, more people have access, we can fuel this economy and really create a thriving Idaho.
You talked a little bit about how the 8 public higher ed institutions are like siblings. You serve different populations, you serve very different communities across the state. Let's talk a little bit about the identity of College of Western Idaho in this landscape where, again, so many people are really supporting career-ready education programs. And a lot of students and young people are really wary of adding on to their debt load and taking on student loans. When you're looking at adding this 4-year program, is this a one-off thing that we consider by itself, or is it part of the shift that we're seeing when it comes to the public's approach to higher education?
Yeah, I mean, I think at a high level, higher ed in this country is in a chapter, like a lot of things, and this chapter is, one of the key attributes is a public sentiment that's wrestling with affordability of everything, not just higher ed, right? It could be housing, could be cost of living overall. I think there's a desire for a greater connection to how this can truly pay off, not intellectually, but with the facts. Do I benefit? Not does one who graduates benefit, and not at a theoretical level. And I think right now that the community colleges have historically in this country always been functioning with high affordability and high empowerment. I say empowerment, but really that's for most people employment. And at the same time, I think that you're seeing people historically think of community colleges as places where folks who maybe didn't know what they want to do, maybe weren't interested, sort of a place of last resort. I think that's changing. I actually think people are seeing it as a place where value is present, meaningful, sort of place where smart people go, people who understand value, people who get that this is a path to empowerment. It's less about pedigree and more about progress and empowerment. And I think the public, we're going to be in a phase where all of us work to reinstill confidence. And I think we have to have our solutions. And this Bachelor of Applied Science is saying, let's be a participant in our own solutions to offering up to the community believable, encouraging and empowering pathways. In addition to saying, hey, we may be getting tagged with some things that aren't fair, but the reality is we got to come up with solutions, and I think this BAS is part of that.
What are those unfair things that you're being tagged with?
Well, I don't think, I think higher ed is doing good work. I think we are very mission driven. I don't think there's people who are trying to undermine the fabric of this country. I think the American dream is run straight through education. I can't tell you the number of people who've told me about somebody in their family, often 1, 2, maybe 3 generations back, who made a bold step to participate in education, to become a doctor, a lawyer, an accountant. And that had multi-generational change. In my life, it was a grandparent who, for them, a trade was not the path for them, and it was education that enabled them to pursue a career in science. Make some great discoveries, I think, today that participate in teams that invented things, but also put my father through college and enabled me to have a path. And I'm somebody who likes to appreciate and not just wave off the past. I think it's worth finding all that good and not just throwing out in wholesale cloth comments that denigrate something. So I think that's what I meant. I think there's a lot of good there, but I do think we want to participate in making sure we stay current, we acknowledge where people have real concerns, and let's address those with honesty and transparency.
There's a good point, too, about generational impacts of higher education. President Gordon Jones, College of Western Idaho, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks, Melissa.